Yo, what's up, guys? The real JTW. So we got a guest on today. Got an interview with who we got right here.
Big Ant from Wichita, Kansas, the 316. What's up, man?
How you doing, man? So
I I'm great, just staying busy.
that's what's up. So we're gonna dive into a bunch of questions and stuff. First question: what got you into music?
I just growing up in Wichita, hung out with a lot of people that listen to music. Mostly rap. I've been introduced to metal and stuff too, which I'm a big fan of, like death metal and shit like that too. But mostly my cousins, my uncle, and back then we had MTV, so that was a big deal. BET, or just pretty much from that, just TV and just hanging out with people.
So a lot of culture played a factor. You feel like, huh?
Oh, big time, yeah. Yeah, pretty much everywhere I went, there was always music playing, it seemed like, and I played a lot of football, basketball growing up, and going to the gym, you need something that hypes you up. And so, yeah, it
Yeah,
just was always a big part of my life.
that's what's up. How long you been doing music for?
Well, so actually, first putting a pencil to paper, I was about 7 years old. So it's
Okay,
funny. So the very first time I actually started writing, I was watching MTV, and I think it was Forgot About Dre or something that came on. I know it was an Eminem song, and
right.
I was freaking stuck, man. I got obsessed with like poetry, and listening to Eminem, got big into Tupac, and a lot of people on the West Coast. So
Right.
I fell in love, bro, and I'm like, man, this is what I want to do. Got
Yeah.
serious with it. Maybe about like 11 or 12 was when I actually went to an actual studio. Some friends knew a homie that had his own setup. Went did a song with him. It was just a home studio, but he had some pretty good equipment. Then went to a professional studio after that, and haven't looked
Yeah.
back, man.
Yeah. So was it a hard upbringing? Before you kind of like grew up and so forth. What was it like? What was some of your past traumas or anything that you might have had to deal with before, that
It,
you used towards kind of your music and so forth?
it definitely had a lot of ups and downs. And why I related so much with like Eminem's music is he switched like schools, all the time. Like me and my mom, we moved around a lot. I'm not saying I had the worst childhood or anything, but there was a lot of ups and downs, moving around, uh and depression, anxiety ran in my family, so that kind of took a toll. And losing
Yeah.
loved ones to like, like I just lost a friend to suicide. So mental health has really played a big impact.
Right. Right. Yeah, I know your new album, Unchained. It's all based around mental health.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that? Like, kind of going that route.
So I've always dealt with anxiety and depression. So I wanted to make an album. I knew I was going to go into the darker music. Like I knew from the beginning that's the kind of music I wanted to make. But before I really go on that journey, I wanted to make an album that, like, I'm not saying my dark stuff don't mean something to people. I'm sure there's something that anyone can take from any song, whether it's just entertainment or whatnot. But I wanted to make an album that people can really relate to, like something that, because like my whole family deals with anxiety, depression. Like I said, I just lost a friend to suicide maybe like 5, 6 months ago. He
Yeah.
wasn't he wasn't my closest friend or anything, but he was a work colleague. And I talked to him off and on, and he was just a really cool guy. I don't know what all the ins and outs of it was, nor do I want to speak on that, but I just
Yeah.
like, so that song Suicide. was pretty much in the name of him.
Okay, so you dedicated that one off the album. Yeah, I know that. I know you did a music video to that too, which was pretty cool.
Did
Moving
it
on
all
to
myself. It wasn't the greatest video, but it's my first time just doing effects, and I thought it came out pretty decent.
Nah, it wasn't bad at all, bro. Kind of moving on to the next situation. Kind of getting a little deeper on the side. I know you said that suicide affected you. Have you ever been suicidal yourself? Um,
Um, well, so I had a kid when I was 15, so no, because I've had kids that kind of kept me going and stuff.
right.
But I've had moments to where, I feel like maybe, I just like felt like, everything was pointless and I just didn't want to keep going. But I never really reached that limit. I try not to.
Yeah, that makes sense, bro. That makes sense. So a lot of your trauma was just kind of like anxiety, depression, or where
Yeah.
you kind of where you came from, backstory, poverty, and so forth. Is that kind of what it was more of?
Yeah, and not having a dad growing up, being a single kid, I've had step brothers and sisters, and I actually have one half sister on my dad's side that I haven't really been able to talk to. His her and her mom moved away, so
Right.
yeah, that has a lot to do with it. And my mom, she has really bad anxiety and depression, and I just I dealt with it my whole life, and I wanted an outlet, and music was it.
Right. So it kind of saved you in a sense, like it was kind of like what your journal, I would say, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If I didn't have music, man, shit, dude, I was doing some bad shit growing up, and I was hanging around the wrong people, and
Yeah,
but then I had a kid when I was 15. I straightened up a lot, went out, got a job. I kept doing music, man. It's always been something that kind of kept me, out of trouble.
that's what's up, man. It's good that you look at life, like in a lot of perspectives. Obviously you got the negativity that you had to overcome, but maybe that was a weird awakening having a kid at 15. That must have not been easy though. I gotta ask, what was the struggles like having a kid at that age? Like was it mainly financial or was it way more bigger than that?
Well, yeah, definitely financial, because I was living with my mom at the time.
Yeah.
Well, so when I had a kid, I was actually staying with my ex's, the kids' mom's house. Then she got knocked up. I got kicked out. Because I moved out when I was like 14 or 15, and I just kind of was running the streets, doing my own thing, and hanging out with my ex and stuff. But then when she got pregnant, I got kicked out, so I had to move back in with my mom, and so that it was a struggle, and then she ended up. We was able to talk my ex's mom into her moving in with us, so I can help raise my kid. But it was a big mess, man. Just being kids, being young and dumb. Not knowing
Yeah.
how to really do anything. And my mom, she did help a lot.
Yeah, well, I was about to ask that. Another thing I'm gonna ask is, so having a kid at 15, I gotta ask, what was it like? Just like, I mean, were you still in school, or did you have to drop out, get a GED? What was the whole backstory on that? Like, as far as your education?
Yeah, I went to homeschool. I started doing homeschool pretty much right after that.
Okay,
Yeah, and then
and then
so
yeah, was it hard, or what? Do you think it kind of did it fuck with you a little bit mentally, just because it kind of took you away from like meeting people in person, and I mean, were you isolated? It felt like kind of more of.
but honestly, I've always been someone that kind of likes isolation. It's crazy because like I want to do shows, and I want to meet people, and so don't think that I'm like completely like against like meeting people, but I've always been like someone that kind of stuck to myself. I've always been the outcast.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand that, man. I feel like people that rely on others, they don't get far. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
just one of those things where like you can get far, like if you know the right people and you bring the right people in your circle, but it's just kind of one of those things where you like sometimes where you figure out life on your own and kind of where you want to go with it. I mean, fuck family and friends at the end of the day type shit. You feel me?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
So kind of moving on to the next question. You got any kind of like past traumatic things maybe possibly that have stuck with you that you kind of live in with the music? I mean, as far as like subject line, this might be a deeper question for you.
Yeah, I think just, like I said, being someone that's kind of have always been, a little just off with like, just someone that likes kind of darker imagery, stuff, not so, how I'm going to go back to, like I say, I didn't really have much of a dad in my life. When he would come
Yeah,
around, he was a huge metalhead.
was he?
So I feel like that kind of played an influence on like what kind of music I make, and the topics I talk about. Because he did introduce me to metal, took me to my first Slipknot show.
Okay,
Uh
that's sick.
yeah, it was wild, bro. Like I had a hell of a time. I was like maybe 14, I think I was 12 or
That's
to
what's up.
14. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a mosh pit was, bro, but I ended up in like every single one. It felt like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's different environment than going to like a rap concert, I swear, bro. Like you get out of the fucking concert and you got two drunk guys just fucking battling out over like a motorcycle or a bitch.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. But past dramatic experiences, I would have to say, yeah, just, it sucks not having a dad around, like there's a lot of shit that I wish I knew how to do that most
Yeah.
men know how to do, but not having a dad around, it did kind of put a dent and stuff.
Was it hard on your mom, you would say? Maybe like did she feel like she struggled a lot just raising you, or was it kind of like was it easier for her, kind of like just not having that burden of him, like, or I don't know, kind of I don't know how to word it, but in a
Well,
sense.
it's kind of crazy, but my mom actually ended up switching to women.
Oh, okay. Well, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, ain't
so
nothing wrong with
I've always
that.
had other stepmoms, yeah.
Well, that's what's up. You got two mommies. Fuck,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Plus, you got a mommy yourself. Shit, that's
That's
crazy.
right, yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah.
I just dropped the bomb on
God damn. So,
them.
but it probably was tough on you just not having like, because it is like hard when you only have like, because
Two
like,
women around.
well, nah, fuck. I mean, that's just a headache in itself. But no, like just the factor that like you didn't have that man, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Somebody to
Oh
teach you
yeah.
kind of like some of
Like,
the routes as a man. Your fucking
yeah.
manhood type shit.
Yeah, no, I really honestly had to learn it from just, people growing up. I hung out with a lot of like my cousins, my uncles, and me and my ex ended up moving to Michigan with her uncle, and he showed me a lot, and her dad, like he's the one who helped me kind of get my driver's license. And so they showed me the ropes, but I just wish I had my own dad. And so he's actually in prison now.
Okay, so do you talk to him, or is he kind of just still out of your life, or how do you kind of keep in contact knowing he's there?
So I ended up, yeah, I was so right when he got locked up, I was talking to him a lot. He got out on bail, but then so I started hanging out with him more often, not knowing the full backstory. I had an idea of what I'd been told why he got locked up, but I didn't know
Mm,
exactly all the ins and outs. So I started hanging out with him more often. I was driving to his place, we was just kicking it, kind of building a relationship. But then
yeah.
he ended up getting charged, for I mean he don't get out till 2029.
Oh shit. Okay.
So yeah, I was trying to build that relationship, and I was talking to him, but
Right.
my schedule's fucking crazy with my job, my music, my kids. So I missed a couple of his phone calls, and he said
Yeah.
it's expensive to call.
Oh
So
yeah.
he wanted to start writing me more often, and I ended up moving. So, and I haven't wrote him back yet, but it just, I don't know, man. There's still a lot of that past, that just kind of messes
Fucks
with
with
me.
you.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, like I want a relationship, but it's like, there's still, I'm angry about a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, he was there for probably like half, so probably
Yeah.
like maybe not even half. It could have been a quarter. Who knows? It's like they come and go sometimes. That's why I feel like people don't understand like the mental health side of things, bro. Like when you don't have everything in line, you aren't in line. You know what I mean? And I felt like maybe that's kind of what you were at. Like you probably didn't feel in line with yourself. Like you didn't know yourself fully. Because, like I said, you can't learn everything from a woman. Raising you.
Yeah.
You got to have that manlyhood. Like when you only have one parent, it's fucking isolation in its own self. In a sense, you feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. And I got a lot of, that's why I listen to music so much. It was other men talking about real shit. Like I didn't like all the fake ass people talking about stuff. That's why I'm a huge fan of like the West Coast music,
Yeah.
like Tupac, and
Right.
Ice Cube, NWA, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then obviously I gravitated to like Brother Lynch Hung and that more like crazy ass shit because I've always been into scary movies and scary music, but it's like I found my therapy through music.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel so I know now like you are taking the toll, like you are going into that role of kind of like a darker side of things. Like I see you touching down on mental health, but also you're also touching down on perspectives. But as of now, it's like you're diving into like kind of like the serial killers and shit, bro. And I'm intrigued with it because it's like a story in itself, but in like a darker sense. So tell us a little bit more about what made you get to that.
Yeah, so I have two albums out right now. One it's From the Gutter, my very first album I came out with, just to show people that I actually can rap. Like I've rapped since I was young. I've rapped in front of people, but I wanted to put out a project to show people. And at the time, I was listening to a lot of like I don't know, Lil Boozy, Lil White, and a lot of like shit you can ride around to. So I put out a lot of tracks like that, still talking about real shit, but I wanted to like more ride around music. So that's From the
Yeah,
Gutter. Check that album out. Then my Unchained album, about mental health, and suicide, drug addiction, all that. But now
yeah,
that I got those two albums out of the way, you know, um, I just like I said from the beginning, I've always wanted to make darker music. Like even since I was young, that's what I've been intrigued by. It's like serial killers, why they do what they do, and their mental state, and how they can, pretty much get themselves to do such crazy ass things. But I like entertaining people too. So it's like
yeah,
with this music, I'm able to kind of dive deep into the brains of like crazy ass serial killer type of person, but then I can also entertain people at the same time. And
yeah,
I have a lot of juggalo friends, stuff like that I've been doing songs with, and I just love the family side of it, and I love how just what they talk about, the heavy ass beats, and just the crazy ass I give no fucks, I'm gonna say what I want to say no matter if you like it or not. Like try and cancel me now, bitch. With all the cancel culture going on, it just makes
yeah.
me want to do it even more. It's like I'm gonna give you something to fucking worth canceling if you're gonna cancel something.
The thing is, man, it's like it's nothing like I'm sick of this positive music, bro. It doesn't help anybody, bro. Like I swear to God, bro, the darker shit is more intriguing, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's real, it happened, and it's a sense of emotion. You feel me? But like in a different direction. So I feel where you're going with that, bro.
I mean, if you like positive music, cool. More power to you. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to JTW. Like we talk about some real ass shit that a lot of people are afraid to speak about.
The fucking crazy thing is like, yeah, you're talking about serial killers, but like the fucking craziest fucking thing I'm gonna say right now is like, did they ever look at the like if you go and they go watch you go watch those fucking documentaries, right? You know the brain tumor's a real thing, you know the brain activity's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
These motherfuckers are people too, bro. And I don't give a fuck. I yes, they do some of the heinous shit. And don't get me wrong, like I'm not fucking like don't glorify that shit type shit, but like it's more of like that's the thing. You're still standing behind mental health in a sense because not
Yeah.
only are you telling a story of somebody who's sick and twisted, but you know what I mean? You're keeping it real, bro. That's what you're doing, and that's what I respect about your music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it all has to do with the brain at the end of the day. Like, I mean, without a brain, like it's the reason you think of something, of anything, it's the reason you do what you do. Like it's your brain. It's that's you, that's what makes you conscious. That's what makes you
Yeah.
think, and that's where your thoughts come from. So it all does kind of tie back into mental health because obviously, well, if you're crazy enough, you can get insanity because of mental health.
Yeah, and I mean, bro, there's actually people that are going through shit that just don't get the chance to get the help they need. You know, maybe they have a fucking, it could be obviously serial killers. They're typically, it's like obviously their sexual drive is fucked. Maybe they only had their mom. This happens, bro. People don't understand why people come out of the closet. They don't understand like why people do shit. Like it's a real
Huh?
fucking thing, bro.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm from Wichita, Kansas. Well, bro, when I was growing up, that was like the heyday of BTK.
Yeah,
I knew someone that I'm not gonna say no names, but his mom got killed by BTK, and that's one reason I'm making an album called BTK because growing up in Wichita, bro,
yeah,
I used to be afraid to go to my bus stop, dog. Like BTK was a true fucking threat back then. That was when he was sending in like messages to the news and stuff, and like playing with their heads, because
yeah.
he wanted his publicity and he got it.
Well, the crazy thing too is like this motherfucker was like a preacher or a pastor or some shit. Like he was a big
Yeah.
thing to the congregation of the church. And I've never been a big fan of the church. I've never been a big fan of tithing. I've never understood anything other than the musical side of things. I don't know if you're like the same sense as me. Like I love going to the church and just hearing those bitches like fucking just sing that spiritual shit because it felt real. Like it felt like there was a me like you and me relate to music. So it's like to us, that is God right there in its sense. You feel me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, man, I used to have to like be made to go to church, so I'm a little, like kind of I'm not really against it. Like if you're, whoever's religious, be religious. But like, that's one
Yeah.
thing my dad kind of instilled in me, because he became an atheist when he went to college and he taught me a lot, about religion and there's stupidity in it and stuff. I became an atheist myself. So, and then I started really realizing that there's a lot of bullshit, and it's like, what's that comedian guy? Is it George Carlin? Or he's like, God is almighty, but he needs money. He needs
Yeah.
fucking money. You know what I mean? That's so true. Like you
Well, it
take
makes me wonder. I mean, think about these fucking trees, bro. Every time I look at a tree, I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. No, it's the ugliest fucking thing in the world. Why? Because it makes money, bro.
oh yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. If you can make money off of it, man, they're gonna fucking do it.
what I'm trying to
Fuck the
what I'm
oxygen.
Fuck yeah, for real, bro. Like we're already fucked, bro. That's why I'm like, well, I'm smoking this shit right now because I'm like, fuck it, probably actually helping me if anything. No,
Yeah.
bro, they don't understand like why people get into drugs and drinking and fucking just tobacco and all this shit. And it isn't because we're mad. It's because we fucking have to cope some fucking way.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. And yeah, I mean, there was a time, my drinking got a little heavy. I've been trying to, make sure that I kind of just stay limited and stuff. But yeah, no, it definitely helped me through some crazy ass times.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, bro, life is just crazy, you know. I feel like the spiritual side of things, like I get you, bro, and why you went atheist because it's like there's just so many lies, bro. You know, the damn book wasn't made by the God himself. I mean, whatever these Ten Commandments or whoever the fuck he hired to do the shit, you
Yeah, no, it's
know.
written all by men. And
Yeah.
men lie. I don't know if people know that, but people lie all the time. People, man, you heard that Hobson song about religion, Ill Mind of Hobson. I don't know, what is it,
Oh
five?
yeah.
It's
Seven,
like
seven. Yeah.
seven. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that song is so damn true, bro. Like, you know,
No, it is. With him in the desert, huh? It was the one with him in the
that's
desert,
the
huh?
one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know, it is crazy, bro, because that shit opened my mind. Like, I know you heard my song "Ruins" probably, but
Yeah, it's
it's
good, that
similar,
song.
similar sense. But like, it's just really, bro. Like, we're so divided by God, and why is this? Because like money, because of like we work, like we literally work for nothing, bro. Like, I literally get paid, and I'm fucking broke. Like, help me understand that. Like, it's just crazy. We save what $200 if we're lucky, and then car breaks down, and we lose that whole income plus the 200 we don't have. It's just like we're just so we're so divided, bro, by the world and like the way it works. And I don't know. That's why we make music. This is why
Yeah.
we make music. It, it's a place. It's a place for us to free our mind, our spirit. You know that is our spirit. I feel like and it also is the thing that we're chasing after as far as legacy. You know, it isn't always about money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you want to create something that people can actually, that lives on after me. My kids
yeah.
can listen to it, and my fans can listen to it, so long when I'm gone. Whether I make a buck from it or not, I'm creating something that's never going to go away.
Yeah, I like that, bro. Well, I know we're getting close on the time. We're gonna give you about 5 minutes of closing time. Kind of just lay out what your plans are for 2025 and what you plan on doing in the next 5 years if you get to that point. I want to hear it. Lay it out. You got 5 minutes, G.
But I have an EP that's about to be dropping, about 7 tracks, called Clowning Around. I have another album I'm gonna be doing called BTK, maybe dropping that possibly around Halloween time. And then I have another album that I've been kind of in the making with my homie called Freak Show, that he's mixing and mastering. I don't want to say the name yet because it's kind of, I'm still in the process of figuring it out. Um, I'd like to, I have a show coming up next month, 22nd in Kansas City called at the skate ball. It's like a skate shop or something. So I'm gonna be doing that, I just want to keep making music with, other people, that relate to me and just, maybe eventually sign into a label if the deal's right.
I like that, bro. That's what's up. Let's explain the mask real fast. You gonna be wearing this shit. You gonna be rocking this shit on stage, huh?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the
Yeah.
plan. I
I love
like it. I like it.
I love Killer Clowns and just that wicked ass shit. So, and
Yeah.
I'm a ugly mug, so put the mask on, it kind of fixes me up.
That's what's up. Well, I'm the real JTW.
Big Ant.
All right, yo. We out, yo.